Hello guys, I'm Dr. Poonam Agrawal, Professor Biochemistry. Today in this video I'll be talking about how to learn and retain biochemistry easily. This is a very common question which I have come across through million number of times in my 15 years of career of teaching biochemistry. In this video I'll be guiding the medical students how the biochemistry metabolic pathways can be learned easily and can be retained. Now, first of all, I would like to say that you should have positive mindset to learn this subject. This subject is always said to be a very volatile, very difficult. But what I want you to understand that this subject is not at all volatile or difficult. Rather, it's a very conceptual subject. It's a very clinical subject, and it's a concise subject. When you compare with other subjects which you learn in first year, anatomy and physiology, the subject biochemistry is rather concise. You have selective topics which you need to learn. So the subject is interesting subject to learn in biochemistry. You should have a positive mindset. That's very important before you proceed to this subject. The best manner in which you can learn the metabolic pathways, in my opinion, is to follow a set order. And in my opinion, the carbohydrate metabolism, the lipid metabolism, and the protein or amino acid metabolism should be sequentially studied. Now I'll be discussing how you're going to approach to these individual pathways. So first of all, I'll be talking to you about the carbohydrate metabolism. You have to start with the simple sugar, that is glucose metabolism. And then you have to see what is the source of glucose in fed and fasting state. What is the source? In fed state, of course, it is diet, and in fasting state, we have to talk about the synthesis of glucose in the body. So those things you need to know, that the glucose which you're learning is coming from where. Now, what is the different source or different destiny of that glucose? Like, suppose if you're talking about the glucose which is metabolized in liver, then what all pathways can utilize that glucose? It's a glycolysis, or it's a glycogenesis, or some other destiny is designed for the glucose. You should have that question in mind. What all fates this glucose is going to meet with? Then what is important, that hormonal influence on the metabolism of glucose. This is something very important. When you learn, you see that insulin and contrainsulin hormone and various other hormones as well, they have a very, very significant role on carbohydrate metabolism. You need to be very clear what insulin is doing on glycolysis, what insulin is doing on gluconeogenesis, and what about glycogen metabolism, how the insulin and contrainsulin hormones are affecting this metabolism. So hormone influence is very, very important to be learned in carbohydrate metabolism. Then reciprocal control. See, in our body, in carbohydrate metabolism, there are certain pathways like glycolysis and gluconeogenesis which are anti-pathway. Means, what I mean to say, the glycolysis, the one which is breaking the glucose into simpler compounds, and gluconeogenesis is the process which is producing you glucose from simpler compounds. So these are reverse process, and how they are reciprocally controlled you should learn while studying these two pathway. Similarly, the glycogenesis and the glycogenolysis are anti-pathway, they are reverse pathway. So you should know how, with the help of various hormones, they are reciprocally controlled. So you have to pay special emphasis on these points, that if this metabolism is there, how the hormone is going to influence this metabolism, and how the futile cycle is not allowed in the system via reciprocal control of two arms of the metabolic pathway. Then what is important in carbohydrate metabolism, multiple number of times you'll see that organ difference is there. Whenever we call about that a particular organ, a particular metabolic pathway is taking place in a different fashion, and in different organ, the same metabolic pathway is taking in a different fashion. The hormonal control is different, the steps are different. So those differences you should know, that depending on the organ and circumstances, how that metabolism is going to vary. The best example is The glycogenolysis, which I can give at this point, when you talk about this pathway where the glycogen is breaking, you will see that God has created a different glycogenolytic pathway in liver and muscle, which is fulfilling their own purpose. Right, so you should know that how this metabolic pathway is going to be different in different organ, if at all it is like that. And similarly, I can give you another example which I recall, the glycolysis, the aerobic and anaerobic glycolysis, when and why it is aerobic glycolysis, when and why it is anaerobic glycolysis. Those questions you should ask yourself and then study the subject. You'll be certainly finding it interesting and you'll be able to retain it more. Now, after learning everything about the glucose metabolism, you go to the other minor metabolic pathways like fructose metabolism, galactose metabolism, and try to learn their clinical significance. They are said to be minor carbohydrate metabolism, but please understand clinically they are very, very significant metabolic pathways which are associated with various disorders. So you have to pay special emphasis on these fructose and galactose metabolism as well. Now, in lipid metabolism, I tell you about the key points in lipid metabolism. Before you start the lipid metabolism, you should be familiar with all the lipids and their importance in our body. Like, for example, you should know about the cholesterol, you should know about the fatty acid, you should know about the lipoproteins, you should know about the bile acids, and you should know their clinical importance. And what is important here is that you should know the structure of these lipid compounds. Suppose if you're talking about lipoprotein, this is lipoprotein, you should know how the lipoprotein is organized, how various lipids and proteins are distributed in the lipoprotein structure. There are various types of lipoprotein, you should know their individual difference. And suppose if you're talking about fatty acid, you should know what is fatty acid, how its molecular structure is, what is the different types of fatty acid, odd chain, even chain, and saturated, unsaturated, branched and linear chain, like that. You should know all varieties of fatty acid. This is going to make your learning easier when you come to the metabolic pathways of lipid or fatty acid. You find it much easier to understand the metabolic pathway once you are clear about their chemistry and structure. Similarly, about the cholesterol also, when you are learning the cholesterol metabolism, first of all, you need to know the structure of cholesterol per se, how it is having such huge structure, 27 carbon in it. So these are certain important points which you should note down, that this is important to be learned beforehand before you embark upon the metabolic pathways in the lipid. Then further points I tell you, suppose you're talking about various types of lipoproteins, then you ask yourself, what is the use of having so many lipoproteins, how they are different in their structure, how they are different in their metabolism. So these questions you ask yourself before you start learning the lipoprotein. And then suppose if you're learning about the fatty acid, first of all you ask yourself, what is the source of that fatty acid which is in your hand, which you're learning the metabolism of that particular fatty acid, from where it is coming, whether it is coming from diet or it is coming by mobilization of triacylglycerol fatty acid from the adipose cell. See, the destiny is going to differ if it is a dietary fatty acid or if it is a fatty acid which was stored in the adipose. When it is coming to the plasma, its destiny is different. So you have to see that what difference is there in their destiny. Then when you learn the ketogenesis during fatty acid beta oxidation, you come across a pathway called ketogenesis. You should know why ketogenesis and how ketogenesis. And after that you ask yourself what this ketone body is going to do in the body, how it's getting utilized in the body, and then learn those pathways. Similarly, the source of cholesterol and its journey in the various or between various organs should be clear to you. And every time when you learn a metabolic pathway, always see the physiological and pathological correlations. Like if you're talking about ketone body, then you see what happens if the ketone body is excessive in the blood, what types of problem that individual encounters. That's called ketoacidosis. So you learn about that, ketoacidosis. Then about cholesterol, if it is high, then what problem that individual come across, various types of dyslipidemia should learn. So this clinical correlation is very, very important when you learn the biochemistry. That will help you to learn the subject subject with a lot of interest, and it will make it easier for you to retain the pathways. Now, in amino acid metabolism, I tell you, we have many amino acids and their metabolism you need to learn. But what is important here is that individual amino acid metabolism are independent. Mostly they are not interrelated. So individual metabolisms you have to learn. And if the amino acid is non-essential, you have to pay special emphasis how it is produced from essential amino acid. Then once you're talking about a particular amino acid metabolic pathway, you see what all ways this amino acid is being utilized. In addition to making of protein, what other ways the metabolic pathways are using this amino acid. And you will see that amino acid metabolism is having loads and loads of clinical disorders. So all inborn error of metabolism, you need to learn perfectly in the amino acid metabolism, which enzyme deficiency in amino acid metabolism is resulting in this disorder, what is the consequences, why there is consequences, how to go about this particular case, what type of treatment is to be advised to the baby, what clinical presentation will be there in that baby, and why that clinical presentation of the baby. See, when you learn the biochemistry properly, most of the time you understand the basic concept of clinical presentation, which makes your learning in clinical subject much easier. Now, in this slide, I'll be giving you some useful tips to retain the subject. Students always complain, ma'am, when I study, when I learn, I understand everything, but it's very difficult to retain the subject. So for that, let me tell you, any subject, if you do not revise, it's difficult to retain. Any subject, when you don't think of yourself, don't analyze the subject in your mind with closed eyes, it's difficult to retain. So to retain this subject, you should write and see how much you remember. Once you have learned a metabolic pathway, close the book, close the source from wherever you're learning that subject, and then try to jot down on a rough paper that what you have learned, how this metabolism is taking place. That's very important. Maybe for any other subject, this writing part is not that essential as it is important to learn in biochemistry. You have to always make a habit of writing whatever you have learned on a rough paper and see how much you remember. And no one is stopping you to go back to your text again if you are forgetting a particular step. Now, highlight important enzymes and their regulation. See, there are metabolic pathways which are very lengthy pathways. Number of enzymes are required. But if you read once or twice, you understand that there are certain specific enzymes which are very important. And they are mostly the enzymes which are regulatory enzymes of the pathway, or the enzymes which are deficient in certain circumstances resulting in very devastating disorders. So those enzymes should be paid special attention to. Then, as I have been telling you, the clinical correlation is very important. Then what I feel that practicing MCQ at the end of your learning is very important, which helps retaining the factual knowledge. And similarly, when you learn the case-based scenarios, it teaches you how to apply your biochemical knowledge in clinical cases. So catch hold a book which is giving you the proper MCQs guidance, proper case scenario guidance, and helping you to learn the subject yourself in a best possible manner. Now, revision, as I've told you, revision is the key to success, and frequent revision at frequent interval is very important. Now, towards the end, I should tell you that once you learn all the metabolism, the carbohydrate, lipid, and amino acid metabolism, you should know the inter-organ relationship in terms of fuel supply in fed and fasting state, and special emphasis to be given on metabolic alteration in diabetic patients. See, once you learn the diabetes mellitus metabolic pathways, you learn a lot in biochemistry, because in diabetes we have lack of insulin, which is going to reverse everything out in the metabolism. So learn the normal metabolism, and then you ask yourself what happens in diabetes. So once you are able to answer that question, you'll be having a very conceptual learning of the subject. Now, as I've told you, various disorders of metabolic pathways should be learned. Now, this is another question which I come across now, which book to follow. Now, you have so many books in the market which are very good and which the undergrads can utilize. And you'll be happy to know that I am also author of a book of biochemistry for undergrad medical student, which is based on MCI curriculum. So, of course, I'll be asking you to read my book, which is Concept in Biochemistry with Clinical Approach, based on latest CBME program as per advice by MCI, and my textbook is shortly going to be launched. And other books which are available are medical textbook by S.K. Gupta. It's a very good book. You can follow this book, or a medical biochemistry book by Dr. Dinesh Puri. This is also a very good book. And then you have a book by Dr. Vasudevan, textbook of biochemistry. So there are so many books. You can choose upon any book which you like. Before you embark upon the subject, to sit in the library and decide which book you are going to follow throughout the year. Just select one book, any one book, and stick to that. And these are references book, the Harper Biochemistry and Lippincott Biochemistry. Please use these books only as a references book. Don't make them as a textbook. You can selective topics you can learn from these books. So whichever like you find little confusing or a little difficult to understand, you can open these books and learn those topics from here. Now, thank you very much. This was a short video to guide millions of students, who are asking me the questions very often, how to learn this subject. And for such videos and many more videos on some small difficult topics of biochemistry, you can subscribe my YouTube channel. The link is here. And the name is Dr. Poonam Agarwal. You can subscribe my YouTube channel. There I'll be updating you time to time how you can learn your biochemistry learning easy. Thank you very much.